Now let's look at some examples of for loops. As you'll see here in my development environment, I have a for loop set up. I have created a list of animals containing cat, dog, and bat. And then for my for loop, I say for animal in animals. And this is just the variable name that is going to represent each value in my iterable object. And then under the for loop, indented, I am printing this animal. So if I run this, you'll see that I get the output cat, dog, and bat. If I wanted to exit this loop, if I ran into the value dog, I could put in an if conditional and say if animal equals dog, then break. And if I run this now, you'll see that I get the output cat, and that is it, because once it runs into the value dog, it is breaking out of this loop before this code here executes, and then the loop itself no longer executes. However, if I just wanted to skip dog and continue on through the list like normal, instead of break, I could use continue, which will force it to end its current iteration and start the next one. And if I run this, we'll see that I get cat and bat. And if I wanted to execute some code or just output that the loop is finished, I could put in an else clause and then tell it to do something such as print done. And when I run this, we'll see that I get cat, bat, and done down here. However, if I were to do this with the break keyword and run this, we'll see that I only get cat, and this code right here does not execute because, like with the while loop, if you use the break keyword, the else clause will not execute. Now let's say that I actually wanted to do some work on the elements in this list. I'm going to go ahead and remove some of this code here. And if I were to type in something like animal, which is the variable that the for loop is working on, equals goat, and run this, you'll see that it outputs goat 3 times here. But if I go down below my for loop and actually print out my animals list and run this again, you'll see that it's outputting goat here, but my list still contains the values cat, dog, and bat. Now the reason is because when you use a variable like this, it's not accessing the elements in the iterable object the same way it would if you were using indexing. So if I actually wanted to work on these elements, I could do something like for I in range, and then in the range, I'm going to pass it the length of my iterable object. So I'm going to call the length function and pass that in animals. And this looks a little convoluted, so I'll explain it. The I here is going to represent the variable that the for loop is iterating through, and range is going to generate numbers from 0 up to the length of the animals list, which is in this case going to be 3. And since range uses a non-inclusive n number, this is going to run for the values 0, 1, and 2. So if I look at my list, I have index 0 at cat, index 1 at dog, and index 2 at bat. So this works out perfectly to actually be able to work on my list. So now for my animals, I would do animals because I'm actually referring to my list. And then in a set of square brackets, I would put I and then change it to goat. And then down here in the print statement, I will also do animals with the square brackets and the variable I in there. So the first time this runs, this I is going to be 0 and it's going to access this element. The second time it's going to be a 1 and access this element, and then 2 and access bat. So now when I run this, we'll see that it prints out goat 3 times here, and it's actually changed my list to contain the value goat, goat, goat. It's important to understand that for loops do operate on any iterable object. So if I were to put in for char in and then pass in a string such as hello world, and then down here, print char, and I'll get rid of this and got this little squiggly here because I forgot my colon. And if I run this, it's going to output each individual character from the string hello world on a different line. Now the last thing I'm going to show you for loops is how to nest them. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all this, and I'm going to make very simple for loops here. I'm going to say for x in range, and I will have it start at 1 and go up to but not include 5. So this will be the values 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then directly below that, I will put in another for loop, and I'll say for y in range, 1 up to but not including 5. And then below that, I will tell it to print x times y. And now when I run this, the first for loop is going to start at 1. And then the second for loop is also going to start at 1. But all the elements in the second for loop are going to be iterated over. And then it's going to go to the next one in the first for loop. So this is going to be 1 times 1, 1 times 2, 1 times 3, 1 times 4, and then 2 times 1, 2 times 2, etc. until it's iterated through all of these. So when I run that, we get the output of 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 4, 8, 12, 16. So as you've seen here, for loops make it very easy to repeat a block of code to either perform something a set number of times or to operate on some sort of iterable object such as a list or a string.